The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Scott Earhart here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Thank you all so very much for taking some time out of your busy days to join us today. Very excited about today's presentation. I think you'll find it very, very timely and valuable. We are going to have one of our top producers and one of our national sales coaches, Mr. Dave Pimper, join us shortly, and he is going to go through qualified fund marketing and prospecting, a game plan to work with your clients and prospects with their qualified funds. Really unique presentation that has brought Dave a lot of success in his efforts. So really excited to get into that today. Before I do bring Dave in and hand over to him, we are going to go through just a few housekeeping items and a few introductory slides, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the presentation today. So let's start with some housekeeping items. And first item, and probably the most important thing you'll hear me say today, is in the top right-hand corner of your screen. That's our phone number. That number is 800-255-5055. If there is anything we can be doing to help you in the life or fixed annuity markets, please do not hesitate to give us a call. We'd love the opportunity to be chatting with you. Second housekeeping item are going to be polling questions. Throughout the presentation today, I will launch 3 polls. They are just simple yes or no responses that we're requesting from you. If you would please take the time to participate in those, we really do appreciate that. And the final housekeeping item is questions. In today's presentation, we're going to throw quite a bit of information at you in a fairly condensed time frame. So I'm sure there will be questions. Dave does a great job of being very transparent and very open. So please take some time to type in any questions you have. We will do the best we can to get those answered while we are live and in session. That being said, let's move on to a few introductory slides here. And I'm going to start with the IAMS Business Builders. Our first item there is the Referred Producer Program. Our business here on the wholesale side of the industry, very similar to yours there in the field, in that one of the best leads we will ever obtain is a referral from one of our valued producers. So we want to make it worth your while to refer individuals over to us. When you refer a producer to IAMS and they pick up any license through us, we're going to send you a $50 thank you check. Now, where the real money comes in is as your referral writes business, you will receive a 20 basis point override on that business. We do cut these checks at least quarterly, and Steve and Charles, our ownership team, sign checks for thousands and thousands of dollars at a time. So it can be very lucrative for you. If you can think of an advisor that may benefit from doing business with us here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services, feel free to type their name into the questions box. Email me their information, scott@imsinc.com, or when we call to follow up with you, feel free to let me know who they are. Me or someone on my team will do the best we can to get them recruited over to us here at IAMS and get you on your way to earning some referred producer dollars. Next bullet point on here is marketing reimbursement. This is our most popular business building program, and it's popular because it's very lucrative. Rough numbers on this: for every $100,000 in premium you place through IAMS, we will put $100 into your marketing reimbursement account. Now, what makes this so popular is we do not cap your account. We do not make you cash your account out in certain time frames. So we'll let it grow as long as you want to let it grow and as high as you want to grow it. And we also put very few restrictions on the vendors that you utilize for marketing reimbursement. If there's a vendor that, lead vendor, something of that nature, where you've had success in the past, we'd encourage you to use them again. Just send us a receipt for it. We will cut a check and get it out to you as quickly as possible, hopefully help you offset that expense and build your practice. If you have any questions on marketing reimbursement, please let me know. New producer builder. This slide is going to be geared towards individuals who are new to us here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services, or if this is your first introduction to us at IAMS, the new producer builder is available to you. It's based on production within your first 180 days of being licensed with us. As you can see, there are three levels to qualify at, and inside each level, great options to choose from. cash rewards, business building tools, personal perks, all available to you. If you'd like to know where you stand as far as the new producer builder goes, or if you want to have a conversation about what we can do to help you step up to that next level and obtain what you're looking for, certainly would like to have that conversation with you. Back office support. This slide is the heart of who we are here at IAMS and how we were founded 30 some odd years ago by Charles. That subheadline there, we help you work smarter, not harder, is truly who we are. And we're going to do that with great business building tools and resources. You saw just a glimpse of what's available. Of course, we've got resources like our website and, you know, these online trainings that we do daily here, case design assistance, life and annuity quotes. Absolutely. We've got a lot of experience on our marketing team. I don't mean to sound egotistical, but we're pretty gosh darn good at what we do, and we'd absolutely love to show off our skills to you with our case design assistance and the commitment we make to our advisors with having the illustrations and the paperwork out to you same day that you need. Forms at your fingertips. You can get forms by giving us a call at 800-255-5055. We can get you emailed out forms that same day. We can get them drop shipped to you if you need large batches as well. Of course, the website, IAMSinc.com, you can request forms there or link over to Carrier to pull your own forms if you'd like to. Submission to commission support, that's something that we do here at IAMS that I think we're better at than probably anybody else in the industry. We've got new business teams here that are solely dedicated to scrubbing your apps, submitting your applications, tracking them through the issuance process. And what I would tell you is if you have not done business with IAMS, submit a piece of business to us. Give us a shot at that. I think you'd be very impressed at how much back office support we can and do provide and how much faster you will be commissioned because of that. And then top sales expertise and coaching. You're about to hear from one of our top sales coaches in the entire country and one of our top producers, Mr. Dave Pimper. We've got coaches available to help you increase your production, help you refine your sales process. Very excited to have that availability and something that's definitely very advantageous for you to take advantage of. And then paperless contracting. We are on the Efficient Forms platform, so we all know the pain and the hand cramps of filling out individual licensing agreements. We can take that off the table for you with the Efficient Forms platform. Fill out licensing one time, and then we can add on any carriers you need with a simple click of a button. Very, very easy there. If you have any questions about how the Efficient Forms platform works, Chris Mount, our licensing director here in office, is a guru with it. Just give her a call. She'd love to chat with you about it. Creative Marketing Solutions. We do have an in-house creative staff here headed by Jacob Tedlock, and we can do quite a bit of things for our advisors very, very quickly at very high quality. We've got great turnkey solutions built out in our library, handouts, flyers, postcards, newsletters, all available to you. They can be customized for you and your brand. And speaking of that, if you haven't created a customized brand for your business, we can help you with that. Certainly something that I think everyone should have. It will help you with your recognition. It'll help you with your validity in your sales processes. And Jacob and his team do a great, great job with coming up with unique logos, unique coloring, great tools there. And then digital solutions, online marketing projects. We have a lot of that going on, and we're very happy to do it for our advisors. Website design, social media consulting, email marketing, a lot of things that we can do to help you increase your practice there. If you have any questions about what's available from IAMS Creative, just give Jacob a call in the office, and he or someone on his team will walk you through what all we have available to our advisors. Our website, I've mentioned it a few times in the presentation so far, IAMSinc.com. If you haven't gone out and created an account there, please do so after the webinar. You'll find a lot of great tools there. Our sales resource library. We did just launch a partnership for errors and omissions insurance. If you need E&O or looking to renew E&O, definitely check that out. Pretty good pricing there. Annuity quote engine, term quote engine, a lot of great tools for you and your practice available at IAMSinc.com. Retirement Analyzer. This is one of my favorite things that we offer to advisors because it is a holistic retirement analysis software package. And not only is it a retirement analysis software package, I think it's a great closing tool with a few buttons, few clicks, few inputs. You can show a client exactly where they stand with their retirement funds and how long it's projected to last them into retirement. And with a simple click of a button, you can show them exactly or project how much longer their funds will last because they choose to utilize a product that you're showing them or a strategy that you're presenting them with. It's a great, great tool. Marcus Solar in our office is our point man for Retirement Analyzer. We've got a lot of great trainings on it. We do have a 90-day free trial available to our advisors. So if this is of interest to you, give Marcus a call. He can certainly get you out that information. IAMS Wealth Management. As I launch IAMS Wealth Management slide here, I'm going to launch our first polling question of the day. And what I'm asking you here is if you'd like more information about IAMS Wealth. If you click yes, you'll receive an email from us with some details about the firm and also a call from Mike Hansen, one of our onboarding specialists over at IAMS Wealth. IAMS Wealth we founded, probably about 20 months ago now, maybe coming up on 2 years. Been very, very successful with it. We designed IAMS Wealth to mirror the IMO as far as being a service-first based organization. With IAMS Wealth, you will find, people that answer the phone, individuals that can help you with questions that are service-based first. With that being said, we do offer a fantastic platform for your clientele, great training for an individual that's looking to obtain their IAR, and a very competitive fee structure. So we've seen a lot of existing RIAs move over because of the fee structure, not only for themselves, but for their clients as well. So a really, really solid package there. If you are an existing IAR, or if you are considering adding assets under management into your practice, I'd tell you to click yes, have the conversation with Mike, see what we can bring to the table. I think you'll be very, very impressed with that. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and move on from the wealth management slide here. So if you haven't taken the time to click yes or no on the polling question, I'd encourage you to do so. Thank you everyone for your participation there. Moving on to our Life and Annuity Academy, and I hate to do it, but I am going to launch a second poll here back to back. With that being said, what I'm going to ask you is if you'd like more information on the Life and Annuity Academy. By clicking yes, you will receive an automated email with information about the Academy. By clicking yes, that also puts you onto our interested parties list. So as we open up registrations for our next Academy, you will be the first group of individuals contacted. We do have our first Academy of 2019 coming up here in just a couple weeks in March, and it has been filled. That being said, we are looking to do one in middle May as well. Now, our Life and Annuity Academies are all expenses paid. We try to do them on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What that looks like is we will fly you in on a Wednesday, have an evening session that evening, have a full day Thursday, have a morning session Friday, break right around lunchtime, get you out on a plane and hopefully home in time for dinner. We do bring in internal staff. Here you'll meet Steve Murray and Charles Hiring, our ownership team, of course. You'll meet myself to go through annuity topics. You will meet Jacob Tedlock, the head of our creative team. Normally you will meet Amber Williams, the head of our new business team. You should also meet Charles Hiring Jr., who's the head of our RIA. And what we do is we talk about what we offer here at IAMS, the programs we have, how to implement them in your practice, and give you sales and marketing ideas and tools to grow your practice. We will also have a carrier or two that presents, and when we bring in carriers, we ask them not to come in with product. We ask them to come in with sales idea for the products they are showing, and it's worked out very, very well. Lets you understand the niches that certain products and certain carriers fill. So we will have that there. We do also bring in several of our sales coaches from throughout the country, and I know I've alluded to this a couple times. Our sales coaches are top producers within our firm. They are the upper 1% of commission and fee earners in the industry. So with these sales coaches, they're going to show you exactly what it is they do that has made them so successful and give you the ability to implement that in your own practice and take it home with you. That being said, one of our top sales coaches who you're going to hear from here today, and he's been a great partner with us at many of our life and annuity academies, is Dave Pimper. Dave, if you can hear us, would you like to comment at all on the upcoming academies?
Oh, sure. Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Good, buddy. Thank you for joining us.
Good. Yeah, you bet. We got a ton of snow up here in Nebraska land. Yeah. Hey, no, it's I'm glad we got a big group on today talking about 401k, IRA rollovers, and seminar marketing. But the annuity academies, which IAMS will have, it just depends on the year, but normally 3 to 4 a year. And some are in Omaha, some are in one of the insurance companies, usually in Des Moines. This one coming up is an off-site down in Dallas. But I think that the two major things that are different than most kind of dog and pony shows by FMOs, one is, and Scott alluded to it, is that there certainly is some product, but it doesn't overwhelm the entire time at the Annuity and Life Academy. Most or more than 50% is talking about ideas of how to go in and to increase production in your business. That's a little bit unique, and there's a lot of different ways you can do that, and goes from seminars to radio to final expense to bank on your own. I mean, there are a lot of different ways to go in and market your practice. And the second thing is that I've been to other meetings with other FMOs, and they don't seem nearly as inclusive as what IAMS does. I mean, IAMS has kind of very much of a family atmosphere. Charles Hiring Sr., he's started in 1986, still day to day, and he now co-owns that with Steve Murray. He's been there for 24, 25 years, but it's very inclusive. And we can pick people's brains about what they're doing and the success they're having, the setbacks they're having. I think that networking, especially after the meeting. So I think IAMS is a firm that works very hard and plays hard. And you know what? That's kind of my philosophy. We have fun, but we want to learn, and we want to take that back and put something into action. So if you have not been to an Annuity Academy before and you qualify, yeah, I think that it could be well worth your time.
Hey, thank you for the kind words, Dave. When we do look forward to seeing you down in Dallas, where hopefully they won't have the snow that we have, and again in May. That being said, we're going to close this poll down and move on. So if you haven't taken the time to click yes or no, if you would please do so, we'd certainly appreciate your participation there. Thank you, everyone. Moving on, we'll end the introductory slides on a high note. The IAMS Marketing Summit coming up here in August. Still have till June the 30th to qualify. We'll be at the Ritz-Carlton down there. Fantastic resort, fantastic location, fantastic weather we're hoping for. So super excited about that. 3 million trip credits will get you there. You can see the breakdown on how we credit sales below there. If you have questions about where you stand, or if you want to have a conversation about what we can do to help you jump over that 3 million trip credit threshold, we'd certainly love to chat with you about that. This will be our largest marketing summit of all time. Super excited about it. Definitely looking forward to having you there. And if there's any questions on it, please let us know. That being said, I'm going to give control over to Mr. Dave Pimper, who is going to go through some qualified fund game planning here. Dave does a great job. Dave has a specific seminar all about this that he gives and has been very successful with qualified funds. So with that, Dave, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Scott. I appreciate it. My name is Dave Pimper. I'm a producer, just like everybody on this line. Started in 1981. I've done it for a long time, and I work with pre-retired and just retired. That's my forte. One of the things I like to do is to get in front of a lot of prospects, a lot of new prospects each and every day. There are hunters and there are skinners in our business, and everybody's heard of those two words. And what happens is that I'm more of a hunter. I'm more of a gatherer. I certainly do service my book of business. I got 3 administrators, and myself, I'm a lone ranger, but I like to kind of make that rain pour and with prospects and seminars. For me, through the years since 1981, which I actually started in '85 on my first. I had seminars before that, but not on my own. And then in '85, I started giving seminars on my own, and then I did it off of a specific system, actually Emerald Publications in the early '90s, and it's just been a very, very good way to meet people who you would normally never get to meet. I've done just shy of 500 public seminars since the mid '80s, and so that seems like a heck of a lot. But if you take from the mid '80s till now, and you figure out, I have workshops about 9 times a year, 9 months out of the year. That's 2 workshops in the majority. Some of those will just be 1 workshop off of a mailing here in my small town of Fremont. 26,000. You can't handle 2 nights. But yeah, I mean that's you do that consistently, and that's kind of what you come up with. But I've never stopped. Every seminar good? No. But I'll tell you what, after doing this many seminars, I've got a great mailing house. I've got a great 800 service that takes the phone calls. We've got, I mean, I'm biased, but I think that our invitation is extremely good. And why a lot of people hold off on seminar marketing is that you've got to supply a meal. And there's some seminars you don't. I have a Social Security claiming seminar that it's strong enough on its own not to bring people there, but 401k IRA rollover game plan. No, I mean, it's a very interesting topic, but it's not strong enough without a meal. It just isn't. I mean, you have to have the incentive of a meal to get people there. Now, when you do that, we know that 20%, 25% of the people there for the meal, strictly for the meal. I just had a very good client of mine go to another workshop, and he said, I didn't really want to go because he said, I've been very happy today, but boy, I like that they're having that meal there. You're going to have people like that. I'm glad it's a client of mine and not theirs. But you are going to have people like that. But you know what? The other 75%, hopefully they're there to learn something, and that you have the opportunity to get an appointment with. So this is a mealed workshop. We'll go through a little, just in the very beginning here, just a little bit of specifics of how much you know about the 401k IRA rollover marketplace, the ins and outs, the rules. It's very rule intensive. And this workshop certainly is an educational. There's no specific product. Remember, a seminar is only set up to get you in front of people. That's the only reason. So what happens is that it's not set up to write business. That's what human beings do. We present, propose, and write business. The seminar gets people there. So I just want to let you know that a seminar system is something that has been proven. It has a track. And I and my group have given this workshop many, many times. So let's go in, and if you've got any questions whatsoever, certainly go in and bring them up, and we will answer those. Oh, this is wonderful. So I don't know if Scott is still with us or not. I have no idea what I did there, but this isn't where I wanted to be. So
give me just a second, Dave. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, Scott. So here's what we're going to do. Those are the actual slides. I'm going to see if I can do this again, Scott. Let me just go forward and see what happens this time on it. You can tell I'm a better presenter than I'm a tech guy. Just trying to make it go forward. I'll let Scott work on that for a little bit here. So those are the actual slides, except for I have a how much do you really know about the industry? So let's go in and let's ask those questions. And I want you to go and take this test with me, okay? So here you go. You make your initial Roth IRA contribution for the 2015 tax year on April 15th of 2016, which you can do. You can make from 2015, you got up to when you do your return, so that's not a trick question. How many years do you have to wait to withdraw all of your money tax-free? So how long does it need to be in there in a Roth IRA that's all tax-free? You know what everybody says? Everybody says 5 years. And it could be right. 5 years could be right if it's put on January 1 of the year before. But you know what? If you put it on January 2, that money goes back to January 1. If you go in June or July 1st, it goes back as if you put it in all on January 1. If you put it in on the 15th of April of the next year, that's you have to have it by your filing date, goes back to January 1 of the year earlier. So really, that 5 years turns into 3 years, 8.5 months. Huh. Not many people knew that. What type of trust do you need to establish for your IRA when your intent is to make sure that your designated human beneficiary within that trust, they're able to inherit it or stretch out the tax deferral for their lifetimes? What kind of trust? Do you know what it is? Time's up. It's a see-through trust or a look-through trust. That's a type of a conduit trust. Yeah. So you have to look through, and you've got to go in and here we go. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. What happens is you've got to look through and see the heartbeat of that specific trust to the human being. Okay? So a look through, see through, it's a type of a conduit trust. Okay, good. Let's go to the next slide, or the next question. What type of trust do you have to establish for your non-IRA with an annuity when your intent is to make sure your designated human beneficiaries within that trust are able to stretch out the tax deferral? So for a non-IRA, what kind of trust do you have to set up to be able to inherit that or stretch it? You know what? It's a little bit of a trick question because it can't be accomplished. Not with a non-IRA. It has to be an IRA. The 5-year rule is probably the rule that would apply to that. What does the designation of a per stirpes mean pertaining to beneficiaries? Per stirpes. There's per head and there's per stirpes. So when you put per stirpes on a beneficiary, which I like to do, it goes down through the bloodline, or it's kind of, they call it, it's a Latin phrase meaning by root or by branch. So if you got two brothers, one dies, and it's per capita, 100% of the money would go over to the one brother. The other family would get none. The kids would get none. But what happens is if it's per stirpes, it would drop not to the wife, the non-blood. It'd go back down into the children's line. Yeah, they would get the money. Interesting. Okay. Hey, Scott. You know.
Yes, Dave.
I'm gonna just close some of the things. I think maybe I got too much stuff on my screen. So let's. Oh shoot. There I go. Okay, I'm still in. Okay. All right. So here we go. If there's any questions at all, certainly go in and just bring them up, and we will answer those for you either during or at the end. So part of this is just to give you a little bit of, when you if you mark yes and you want to go in and learn a little bit more about 401k IRA rollovers, the interesting thing is, I had a call last week from a guy, and he heard that I had this seminar. And he said, "Isn't it interesting because you see a lot of different subjects out there, but one subject just around 401ks, just around IRAs." He said, "You just don't see that very often," and that's true. So when I say 401k, I tell people it's 403b, 457. 401k is for profit company plans. 403b is nonprofits like hospitals, schools, etc. And 457 are government actually deferred comp plans, but they're all kind of twin brothers and sisters. So what are your options with your 401k? Well, you can do nothing. As long as you got $5,000 or more, they probably aren't going to kick you out of the plan. You can leave it there. You can roll over to a new company retirement plan. Okay. You could take, if they allow it, if the blueprint allows it, Take a lump sum distribution, probably taxable, may not be a good idea. There is one case it is a good idea. Convert to a Roth IRA, yeah, or rollover transfer to a traditional IRA. How we get compensated, usually by those 5, is the 5th one. They got money that's in and they want to get much more conservative. Maybe take a portion of all that money and we move it over to some kind of guaranteed investment, like a fixed index annuity. Fixed annuity might have an income benefit, an income living benefit rider. Yeah, those are things that aren't available within the 401k itself. Okay, so this slide here talks kind of about the 5 things that we can go in and do. Now, and then what I do normally is I go in and I talk about each one of those bullet points. So here I say do nothing, leave it where it is. So why would you want to leave it where it is? Well, first of all, you got to make sure your plan will allow you to do that. But the second thing is it's easy, it's lazy. You don't have to make a decision. I'm not saying that's the best thing to do, but that is normally available if it's over 5,000. Here's another reason why you might want to leave it in the plan. There's the 55-year rule. A lot of people don't know this, but if you're in a 401k and you have a triggering event where you disconnect with the company, so it could be that you got fired, it could be that you leave your job, it could be that you got retired, it could be that there's all those different triggering events. But if that's the case and your money's in your 401k, between the age of, and you have to be at least 55 when you start this. You can't be 54, 53, 50. You have to be 55 or older. But between 55 and 59 and a half, an IRA, you're going to get charged 10% to take it out. With a 401k, nope, you get charged nothing. Now there's taxation, but there's no 10% penalty. So I've done this many times. Say a person's got 400,000, and I'll say, do you have any big? Say he's 57 years old. He's got 2.5 years before he's 59, and we can take it out without any penalty. And I'll say, is there any big expense or cost or purchase that you're looking to do within the next 2.5 years? And he said, well, I know I'm going to get a car within the next 2 years. And then we talk about how we'd probably like to pay cash on that car. Yes. Take it from his retirement funds. Yes. How much do you think it's going to be? About 35, 40,000. So let's say that what we'll do is we'll take everything with 50 or 55,000 because you got to take taxes out of it, So you keep 50, 55,000 in the 401k. You roll everything over into the IRA. Now, when it's ready to buy that car, you got money available without a 10% penalty. Still taxed, but no penalty. A lot of advisors aren't going to explain that or tell that to their client. We do, and it's part of our. Most of the people don't know this 55 rule. ERISA, which is creditor protection under the ERISA Act, yeah. 401ks are more. They're safer than an IRA. It's just, now in some states like Nebraska, where I live, no, it's not a big deal whatsoever. It's almost impossible to go in and creditors to go in and put the lien on a 401k. Now your IRA, it's a little simpler. So for some people, could make a difference. And those are kind of the lazy way out. But familiarity of investment choices, they're happy with that stock and bond portfolio or that target date fund portfolio. You might have lower fees because of the size of the plan. But you know what? There was an insurance company, and this guy had been in property casualty for years and years, and he was just absolutely positive that the company paid 100% of the fees. And that when you really start digging down there, remember you've got the fund fee. You think they pay for that? They got the administrative fee that's hidden. If it's a large plan, it could be as high as 50 basis points, 75 basis points. Fidelity is just in the news right now about a lawsuit on 401ks because they were charging extra fees through trailing commissions or administrative fees, and Fidelity is by far. Fidelity's got over $6 trillion of assets under management. They're the largest retirement plan back office as far as the record keeping is concerned. But you know, fees, they can be higher or lower, but they might be higher. Even if the fees are low in your 401k plan, what about if you go into a fixed annuity or a fixed index annuity without an income rider? What's the internal fee on that? Zero. There is no internal fee. Now, there are caps or participations. Yes, there is. There are surrender charges. Yes, there are. But is there any internal fee? No, there's not. If you put 100 grand in, 100 grand goes in. Yeah. And an easier choice. No choice. Decision doesn't have to be made right now. Yeah, that's kind of a lot of people don't like to make decisions when it comes to their money. They'd rather be like the ostrich with the head in the sand. You know, where he's at is quiet, no problem, and there could be bombs and guns and military tanks going up on top. He doesn't see or hear any of that. Is that a good way to do your retirement planning? Of course not. But some people would rather do that than have to go on in and to make a choice. Roll your retirement fund to a new company retirement plan. Yeah, you might want to do that. You might want to, you could certainly, we wouldn't make any money from that, but that would give them an option. Why would they do it? Creditor protections. It's really all the same thing. I did put in here that maybe they got some different investment choices on the new plan. But where do they get service and guidance there? Not many do, or you pay for it. How many face-to-face appointments do you have with that person on the A&R number? None. There are loan provisions in a 401k. There are not loan provisions in an IRA. So if that loan provision, getting out that $10,000 or 50% up to $50,000, yeah, if your plan allows that. I'm not in favor of borrowing against your own money. It normally sets you back in the long haul. But if a person that's important to them, a 401k is where to keep the money. It's not the IRA. To consolidate funds, to consolidate money. Yeah, a lot of people want to keep it simpler as they get older. So then we talk. What about taking a lump sum distribution? You know what? This is bizarre. Now a lot of those are small accounts, but over 50% of all holders of 401ks, 403bs, 457s, qualified retirement plans, when they have a trigger event and they're no longer with the company, they're fired, they're laid off, they quit, they retire, half of those people take their money out and it's taxable. Now, most of those are smaller. You don't run into it very much. There's a lot of people that have very small money, but that's too bad. It's a shame. And so remember this, that if you do take your money out, you could have 60 days to indirectly roll that over into another IRA, but you know what? 20% of that money is going to be held out. The government does not believe, the IRS does not believe, ERISA does not believe that you're going to pay taxes on that. So we're going to take it out. We're going to take that 20% out right now. Take out $100,000. Say you're going to take it out for 30 days, use it, and then roll it back in into an indirect rollover. Yeah, they're going to take out $20,000. Well, not everyone has got $20,000 just hanging around in a savings account or checking account. Yeah. So there's a reason. The only good reason to lump sum a distribution, take it out, or part of it, is called net unrealized appreciation, NUA. So what's NUA? Net unrealized appreciation. So I'm just going to give you kind of a hypothetical example. Let's say hypothetically you're working with IBM and you got $400,000 with a guy. He's worked there for 35, 40 years. He's going to retire. He comes to you and says, hey, I heard that you have expertise in 401k rollovers. Yes, I do. I'd like to roll over my 401k with you. If you propose to me, I can feel comfortable and understand that it's better than where I am right now. Okay, great. So he's got $100,000 in IBM stock, International Business Machine stock. $100,000. He has $300,000 in mutual funds within his plan. So here's what happens is that $100,000 in IBM stock, even though it's tax deferred, it has a cost basis. He's been putting to that for over 30 years. He's been investing in IBM stock. So let's say that his cost basis on 100,000 present current value is 25,000. That's his cost basis on it. Remember, it's a deferred account, so normally cost basis doesn't come into play. It's all taxed. But if it's in the stock where you work, so if you worked at IBM and has IBM stock, it works. If you worked at Kellogg and have Kellogg stocks, it works. If you worked at IBM and have Kellogg stocks, it doesn't work. It's the stock of the public company that you're in. Public, not private. Public company you're in. So you know what happens is, has to all be rolled out by the end of the year, so you don't want to start doing this December the 30th or 28th. But here's what happens. All has to roll out. So you roll out the 300,000 in mutual funds. You find a good home for that, fixed index or wherever it goes. And then $100,000, you roll that out into a personal account for the client, not a retirement account, not an IRA, personal account. Because you know why? Because right then he's going to go in, he's going to pay taxation on the cost basis. He pays ordinary income tax on $25,000. But the $75,000 of gain, now that's taxed as a long-term capital gain. Remember, ordinary income tax is the highest income tax you can possibly pay for an individual. Not counting a trust, I mean for individual income tax. What happens is that it's always more favorable to have a long-term capital gain. Now, if it's a little account, it's not going to make much difference. But if it's a big account, and I've worked with some big accounts, like stock options, etc., makes a big difference. Called Net Unrealized Appreciation, NUA. Pretty cool. So those are actual slides that we show to the client. I go in. I used to pay to go in and have cartoons. Now I just do quotes that says experience is a good school, but the fees are high. This is back in the 1800s. And you know what? Experience is a good school, but the fees are high. People do make mistakes, and I tell people, don't try to do rollovers and in-service non-hardship withdrawals and all kind of different things. Roth conversions. Yeah, don't try to do that yourself. Get a professional, whether it be a tax attorney, an accountant, a financial advisor. But this is where and when I went up there in front, I said, this is where I have expertise. I never call myself an expert. I say that I have expertise in. I have expertise in this. This is what I've done for over 30 years since 1981. How about a Roth IRA conversion? Yeah. Converting a traditional IRA over to a Roth. You know why people don't do it? Because you got to pay taxes. You got to pay taxes now. In a Roth conversion. Most people don't want to pay those taxes. They don't want to do it. A lot of people do partial conversions. Yeah, they got 100 grand. They'll take 10 grand over 10 years. Yeah, I do lots of those. But tax-free, as long as you're in an income tax bracket that's high enough, tax-free is always going to trump tax-deferred. No doubt, tax-free is better than tax-deferred. There's not a recharacterization rule anymore. That OOPS rule went away with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Now, those are the slides I went from that very first slide. And I'm going to go through here pretty quickly. I'm not going to go near the depth. If you have some questions, certainly type them in. But we got about 6-7 more minutes of the webinar. And I want you to follow along because the big thing is I kind of want you to see the subject matter. Now, this is about maybe half the slides that I have. This is an hour presentation, give or take 5 minutes. If you go pretty quick, it runs you 55 minutes. If you go kind of slow, it might run you an hour 5. That's about how much time. I mean, I'm 63, going to be 64 in April. That's about how much time that you can spend with this age crowd. I do mail out normally a little bit younger, say the age of 50. Because you got people retiring and moving. There's dormant 401ks, so probably 50 we'll go down to, and we'll usually mail up into the high 60s. I don't go much over 70. Okay. So there's indirect rollovers and there's direct rollovers. Remember that indirect rollovers where you take the money? Yeah, we talked about it before. How you go on in, the check is payable to you. You can cash it. You got 60 days to roll it over. If it comes from a company retirement plan, they are going to take 20% out. You have to add to that within the 60-day time period when you put money back to be made whole. There's only one rollover per all of your IRAs you can do per year. Get a load of this. If you do 2 within a 365-day period, say you got 4 IRAs. One you roll over $100,000, you take it out 60 days, but with 30 days you put it back in. Okay, it was 100 grand. You put the 20,000 with it. You got 100,000 there. Let's say that you do another one within that year's time period for 5,000. You know what? You've done 2 within 1 year. All of your money is taxable that you took out. Those apples ain't good. That's a bad day. I will tell you. That's an indirect rollover. I hate to do them. I do about one every 2 or 3 years. Normally, the last 2 times I've done it was for my local bank, and I called the bank president up, and he said, Dave, that's just how we do it. I mean, they're just stubborn on that. They don't have a direct rollover. Okay? If there's any questions at all, certainly go in and ask. Okay? Now, a direct rollover is what I like much better. The check's made out to the new custodian. Might be for the benefit of the client, but they can't endorse it. They can't sign it. They, in cash the check. So they're sent directly to your new custodian. There's no 60-day rule. There's no 20% coming out. You can do as many as you want, and there's no problem whatsoever. You can do it with existing IRAs or new IRAs, a direct rollover. Yeah. You can do it from a 401k. But, yeah, well, the reason you want to do it is there's just, there's no taxation on the transfer. It's all continuous tax deferred. Most people don't have the investments and financial strategies that we have as an independent. I mean, you're not going to see a fixed indexed annuity within a 401k. And I'll tell you what, most 401ks, the guaranteed option is not real competitive. There's far fewer rules in an IRA than there is a 401k. A lot of people want to keep it simple. They want to consolidate. I talk about 7 beneficiary options. And I talk about each one of those. Leave it blank. So if you leave a beneficiary blank and you die, what happens? You know what that's called? You die intestate. Well, that's if it's without a will. If you would have no beneficiaries, and it would go back to the will. If you don't have beneficiaries and no will, then it's dying intestate. Yeah. You know who decides where that money goes then? Ultimately, probate court. Who's run by who? Yeah, the local state government. Your state, your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, charity trust. And I go, and here's another. If I've got all the money I'll ever need if I die by 4 o'clock. Don't let that happen to you. I don't want big belly laughs here, but they're kind of giggles. I mean, if people like you, that's, hopefully they'll sign up for an appointment to see if what you got. We talk about stretching out our inherited beneficiaries. I spend more time, of course, on those. Specifically, it has to say when he deceased, who it's for the benefit of. Yeah. And there's timelines. The designated beneficiary needs to be set up by September the 30th of the year after death, the next year. You must begin taking RMDs by December 31st of the year after death. The RMDs, required minimum distributions on an inherited account, are a little different than a regular RMD at 70.5. And I sometimes I go through this, sometimes I don't, but you know what? While you're still living, before you die, you can go on in an inherited IRA and you can have a list of names that whoever's the beneficiary of that inherited IRA has to go from. So let's say that your kid he's going to get all the money. It's a sole kid, and that kid's out with the Hells Angels motorcycle gang. You still want the money to go to her, but what happens is that here's what happens. You name the contingent beneficiaries, so you can go in and on there after she passes, you can actually go in and list of who you want as her beneficiaries while you're still living before you pass. Kind of bizarre, but it's just one of the quirky rules of inherited IRAs. Yeah. Per capita per stirpies we talked about. RMDs, we go through quite a bit of RMD information. In generalities, I talk about a qualified longevity annuity contract, a QLAC, even though it's where you defer your RMDs up to the age of 85 if possible. You put up to $130,000 or 25% of that IRA. You're deferring. You're stopping your RMDs for now, and you're deferring it and earning a guaranteed specific amount from the insurance contract backed by that insurance company. I don't like QLACs personally, but it does bring up some questions, and I've gotten some good business, not from the QLAC, but from people coming in asking questions from the appointment. Arthur Godfrey says, I'm proud of paying taxes in the U.S. The only thing I could be just as proud to pay half the money. In-service non-hardship withdrawals. If you're not marketing, asking, in-service non-hardship withdrawal plans with your own clients and prospects, you're making a big mistake. I'll tell you, I just did business with over 400,000 on a fella that is from about an hour and a half away, and he had gotten from a referral, and he's 64 years of age, going to work at the company till 70. Back in 2007, 8, 9, he took some monies out and didn't make much money on it, but he said, can I do it when I'm still working? And we called his Fidelity, and he had an in-service non-hardship withdrawal. And you don't want to go in and ask the human resource director. They're not going to give you much information. You just call who the plan custodian is. If it's Fidelity or Vanguard, T. Rowe Price, American Funds, Mass Mutual, Principal, whoever all the big boys are, they'll cover about 80% of them. Yeah, you just call them, and they have to be on the phone with you, which he was. And I just conferenced him in and said, hey, is there a 59.5 in-service withdrawal plan here? And he says, yes, there is. And so we took out, of all the 400,000 plus, we took out everything but about $1,000 so he could continue putting into the plan because he's going to continue to work. And besides that, I got, it was actually from Ameriprise, but a competing broker's plan also. So just pretty interesting about in-service non-hardship withdrawals. We're really big believers in we go specifics about in-service non-hardship withdrawals. If you don't know Social Security, I'm just going to tell you should. 96% of the people in the U.S. have a Social Security benefit upon retirement. 96%. What percentage have fixed index annuities, fixed annuities, mutual funds, stocks, bonds? Nothing like 96%. Now, are all those good prospects? No, but a lot of them are. And you know what? It's very instrumental on an income plan. I call it the 5 pillars of income. What complements Social Security? Could be wages, could be pensions, could be investable assets that you could take income from, could be RMDs from traditional IRAs and in qualified company accounts. But it's how it complements. It's not how Social Security complements those. Social Security has the most flexibility of any of the income streams. When you start it, how much it is when you start it. Social Security has a government guarantee. Yeah, government guarantee. It's a lifetime annuity with a spousal benefit, a divorce benefit, has a children's benefit, has survivor benefit. Where do you find that? It has an inflation benefit. Where did you find that with a commercial annuity? You can't. So you should become an expert on that. And we do a lot of Social Security workshops. This is one of the few that you can do without a meal. The last one that I did was a Social Security. Next one I'm doing is a 401k. But you know what happens is, if you don't know Social Security, you should call me. Because we can do some training on that so you really get up and running and understanding. And knowing Social Security alone, no, it doesn't make you money. Knowing 401k IRA rollover alone, that you know what? That high IQ is not going to make you money. But getting in front of a bunch of people and knowing that, yeah, now all of a sudden you're a happy camper. I'll guarantee you. So there's a lot to think about. I have this on the slides. We would go when we get the consultation right there. We get the appointment right there. We have dates, we have times, and now we have groupings of times, like from 8 to 10, from 10 to 12, from 12 to 2, from 2 to 4, 4 to 6. Yeah. And we have so many appointments coming on in that we used to have the specific, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, but now they're overlapped so many times. Then we call them back on the day after the workshop and and it's really worked out very, very well. It has. So I talk about a promise to them as I'm leaving the workshop. I always say, leave your checkbook at home. We're going to go and give you some good options. We'll uncover one financial problem that you may not have known that you have, and we'll give you an idea of how to rectify that. You know, and I'll say, what are the best rollover options for my company retirement plan? If you don't know that, you need to mark yes, and then I make a big check mark. Could a Roth conversion benefit me? And I will say we do our share of those. It isn't for everyone, but could it benefit you? Might want to mark yes and find out. How do I complement Social Security by 401k? Could different investment choices benefit me, beneficiaries, inherited? And I'll say sometimes a second opinion is the very, very best opinion. And when I go in on the final slide here, and it's an emotional, I kind of use an emotion at the end, but basically I'm just going to go in and I want to say, you know what? I know there's a lot of questions here. So let me just say this. I said, everybody knows George Foreman, don't you? And they all say yes. I mean, he was a tremendous heavyweight boxer, came back after a big layoff. He won the heavyweight crown quite a few times. But I say, you know where George Foreman made his most money? Yeah, it wasn't boxing, was it? And someone says, it was a George Foreman grill. I said, yeah. I said, Google it up. The company that got his endorsement paid him $136 million just for his name, not counting overrides, or as we would say, trails from those grills. So here's how I'll leave today, folks. This is exactly what I say to them out there. Unless you've got your name on a grill, you need to mark yes and come in and see me. And then they laugh. Yeah, they laugh a little bit. And it's kind of lighthearted. And of course, we pick those up, and then the dinner is served. Yeah, then the dinner is served. So that's the basic thing. I've actually presented 489 public seminars since '85. I'm in production, so I understand what you're going through right now and pounding the pavement. Absolutely. I try to make a complicated subject, make it easier to understand. I tell you, I don't care how much you know about 401ks and IRA rollovers. You're going to learn more once you go through my 5 coaching classes. And I go in, I make money from coaching. I don't make money from being in an override or in a hierarchy system. Nope, I don't. I make money from coaching. So I make $750 for 5 sessions. Those are 5 45-minute sessions. IAMS goes in as long as you qualify, meaning you're contracted, the intent to do business through IAMS. Yeah, you know what? They pay for $555 of the coaching. It costs you $195, and from there on, you've got my support. As long as you're writing business at IAMS, you've got my support. Am I employed at IAMS? No. I'm a coach from the outside, but I've worked at IAMS for 14 years now as my sole FMO, and they're good at what they do. And we have found out that coaching, when you give seminars, it's a turnkey system, but the coaching really helps people stay on track. Procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. No, there's not. Tomorrow never comes, does it? Scott, I'm going to have you go in and put the poll up on if people would like to go in and to have a consultation with me for 25, 30 minutes. And we're going to talk about hopefully 401k and IRA rollover seminar coaching. But, I think it's twofold. If you go through the coaching, you certainly are going to go and know more, learn more about the retirement rollover marketplace, especially the qualified rollover marketplace. And remember, there's a lot of lines to fish with. We have an 8.5 by 11 folded cardstock that we use, full color both sides. They're 56 cents a piece. They're very sharp. They look, and they have a big picture of whatever meal it's going to be. But our goal is to get you 35 to 40 folks to between 2 workshops on a 6,000 mailing. The cost is going to run, about $3,350, $60 for the invitation, and you might have another $700, $800, for the meal. So no, it is not an inexpensive route to go with marketing. But if you can get 10, 12 appointments out of that, qualified appointments, wow, what a plus that is. I mean, our last seminar that we had, we got 12 appointments. 12 appointments. That's 12 new people I didn't have a month ago. So if you'd like to go in and get more information on 401k IRA rollover seminars, yeah, mark yes. Mark yes, and I will give you a call. If you mark no, I'm not going to call you, but mark yes, and we will give you a call here. Lynn or Lori or Amy, one of the three, but Lynn or Lori will probably give you a call the next day. So if you mark yes, put a phone number where you guys can be reached and gals can be reached, because I know you guys are busy. We're really busy here running a financial practice, but also a coaching practice. And if we call and we leave a message, please call back, but answer the phone call. I mean, we're trying to get people who are sincere, and I'll give you as much information, as many options as I possibly could. But I'll just finish with this, and I'll turn it over to Scott and see if there's any questions. If you're in a bit of a lull, or you're not in a lull, but you'd like to just raise that production up 10% or 20%, I think I can help you. Now, depending on the situation, but you know what happens is we have lots of people that work with us that are already doing seminars, but they just haven't honed in maybe the subject or the material or the invitation. Maybe we can help you do that. So, yeah, certainly mark yes if you want to talk. And then, Scott, I'll see if there's any questions here.
Absolutely. Thank you for the presentation, Dave. Great job as always. That poll is live. So if you would, please take the time to participate in that. We'd certainly appreciate it. Did have a pretty good question come in right off the gate, Dave. So individuals saw the quiz and participated in the quiz at the beginning.
Yep.
And it really reinforced to them that they didn't have expertise in this area. What's their best path to being educated on this and gaining some expertise?
Mark yes on this poll. Yeah, you know what happens is that, I think, I would say there's three things. One is you've got to have a commitment to get better. So what happens when you've got some passion to get better, you're going to do some reading on books. You're going to do some reading. I read a lot of industry stuff. I mean, the Wall Street Journal, even though insurance, the majority of people on this line probably are strictly insurance licensed, but the Journal is so much more than just stock information. It's economic information. It talks a lot about retirement plans. I think it's the best publication out there. USA Today used to be really good. It's not nearly as good as it used to be. I think what happens is that if you go through coaching with myself, you're gonna have a lot of insight. There's a book out there by Ed Slott. It's Retirement Ticking Time Bomb. Actually, I took some of the ideas that I had from this workshop out of that book. It's a very, very good book. I get the newest edition. It has a lot. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you've never heard about before, but I like people to buy that and to read that. So there's different things. And you know what? Having someone like myself where you've got a question about beneficiaries or Roth conversions or QLACs or net unrealized appreciation, having someone, I don't know everything, but I know where to get the information. And so I would say that you've got to have a will and a want to do it. But a lot of people that I've helped with seminars through this subject, I mean, it's a huge marketplace. That pre-retired or just retired, you're working with hundreds and hundreds of thousands almost every single time. I got another one I'm working on this Saturday. That's about 162,000. And I used to think anything over 100 was big, and I remember telling my wife, this is a smaller deal. But the rollovers are big now, and so I would say if you do those things, but I'd love to talk to you. I can give you some more insight.
Absolutely, I would echo what Dave says. There's a lot of ways you could get educated on this, but the easiest path would be to click yes in the poll and get a sales coach in your corner, or at least entertain the idea. Dave's got a lot of expertise here, and he loves to share it and help other advisors grow their practice. So definitely click yes if that's of interest to you. Looks like we had one final question come in, Dave, and it's really more about long-term marketing with this. How many individual enters into using the 401k game plan seminar? How often would you recommend they run this seminar?
Yep. Here's what happens, depending on other marketing that you're doing and what your marketing budget is. But ideally, you can run every month. What I do is I run September, October, November. I don't do December. I do January, February, March, April, May, and this year I'm going to do one summer workshop. Lots of times, June, July, and August, I'm a golfer. Not a good golfer. Scott's better golfer than I am, but I like to golf. It's fun. But what happens is I just normally don't. We do a little traveling. I got some. My broker dealer has their convention and just different things. My investment advisor has their convention, so I go to different things. But I would say this: if you went in and you did, if you went in, I would say if you went in and did every other month. So if it was September, if you did September, skipped October, did November, then you did January, skipped February, did March, skipped April, did May, then skipped the summer. So that might be 5 workshops. I mean, that would be ideal because I'm telling you what, it takes time. You know, my sales process actually takes, before I do all the paperwork, and I have a lot of paperwork and the kind of investments in insurance strategies I show. I do a fact finder. Then I know we're talking about Social Security on the next one, and then I find the money, and then I go in and I first one is I uncover the assets. At the second appointment, I basically do fact finding. The third appointment, I present, and I get all the vital information, have them sign a form, and then I come back the second time, the fourth time, everything's filled out. So if you're working on 2 or 3 of those, I mean, you've been through 10, 12 appointments. So what happens is, I think if you can do 3 to 5 workshops a year, especially in the beginning, I think it would hopefully really complement your production.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, I'm going to say one more thing before we go, and I know we're running a bit over time, but a question that comes up quite often, and it didn't today, but I just want to address it because it's a good question. We mail out 6,000 pieces. Those 6,000 pieces run in the neighborhood of $3,300, $3,400. There's $100 for the 800 number, and then whatever it is for the meals. If you've got you get 40 people there at $20, that's $800 for the meal. So you're gonna have between $4,000 and $4,500. I mean, you can buy a used car for that. But what happens is you need to go in and bring in $50,000 to $75,000, say, from a fixed index. That pays for the cost. Anything above that is gravy. And I would say that I average $250,000 to $300,000 is my average amount that I bring in from a workshop like this. So have I brought over $1 million? Sure. Have I gone in and not brought in anything? I have. It doesn't happen very often, but it's certainly a working man's game. And I'll tell you right now, if you mark yes, I'll give you some insight. And I think what happens is that there's certainly people that I know that I can help their production.
It's a great point. We've seen it here at IAMS. Dave has certainly helped many advisors within our firm become top producers, qualify consistently for our marketing summits, things of that nature, and a lot of appreciation to you for being willing to do that for us, Dave. And with that being said, we are at the end of our session today, time-wise. Do appreciate everyone taking the time to join us. Dave, thank you so much. I know it's incredibly busy with all the seminars you've been hosting lately, so we really do appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. Any parting words for the group, sir?
No, thank you very much for taking the time, and I'm looking forward to talking to a lot of folks.
Hey, absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for taking time with us today. We do greatly appreciate it. If you clicked yes, please do take the phone call from Dave's administrators probably tomorrow. It's a very, very valuable phone call, and you definitely want to get something set up. Go out and have a great sales day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.